Hey everybody, Jamie here, and today I'm going to show you how we get our annual budget ready for a new year, and this time for 2021. 2020 is over, and this is an awesome time to do two things. Number one, reflect on how our budget went last year. We keep an annual budget so I can look back at every month to see what we spent, where we went under budget, where we went over budget each month. But also, I get a really awesome opportunity to see like our yearly totals of how much we spent in all of our budget categories. And I have my budget broken down so it actually tells me the percent of our income that we spent on each budget item, which I love because then it kind of lets us get a big picture idea of where we're doing a really great job in our budget and where we can maybe make some improvements. And so right here, I'm looking at my 2020 budget. And so I can just kind of look at a few things here. I can look at our total overall income, the different ways we made our income. We're both teachers, so that's the majority of our income is coming through our main job. We did a little side hustling. I worked at a restaurant a little bit off and on, and then we just have some random incomes. Stimulus check. We actually, one of my favorite companies, Saver Life, they just sent out random kind of relief money to people that have connected their bank accounts. And so we got $500 from them, which was an awesome surprise. If you want more information on Saver Life, I'll have a link down in the description. But yeah, so this is our overall income, and then all of our monthly expenses. Some of the ones here you can see our home expenses that we pay every single month, but then you see other ones where we maybe pay a little bit here and there and don't necessarily have a budget amount for. So again, this allows me to get a really big picture idea of our budget and how we did in 2020. And one of my favorite things to do at this time of the year is do a budget review, an annual budget review, so that I can again see what were our top 10 spending priorities based on where we actually spent our money, and then do some adjusting and tweaking for our annual budget in 2021 on how we want to spend our money and being more intentional about that. It's always a good time to review your budget. If you're doing an annual budget right at the start of the year, is to review where your priorities are and where you want them to be. But you can do the same thing if you do a monthly budget, where you can, at the end of the month, look at where you spent your money and make adjustments for the upcoming month. And actually, down in the description, I have links for two budgets, an annual budget, just like the one you see here, and a monthly budget if you're somebody who likes to do your budgeting month by month. How do I get my annual budget set up for 2021? I've got this whole budget full of data. I don't want to lose this data. I love data. I love looking back, and you can see, I'll kind of open this up. I've got all of our budgets from the past year since we started budgeting in 2014, all hidden. They're still in the spreadsheet, so if I need to look back at them, I can look back at that data, see where we spent money, and it's always really fun to see kind of what our priorities were a couple years ago compared to where they are now, because those are always changing. Getting this budget set up for 2021, a couple of things need to happen. First, I'm going to duplicate this entire tab, this 2020 tab, and that's pretty simple. I'm just going to right click down here and click duplicate, and boom, you see copy of 2020 right there. And I'm going to rename this 2021. Okay, first step is done. I've got 2020 budget. I won't lose any of that data because I think that's really important to keep. But now I've got this spreadsheet geared for 2021. And now what I need to do is I need to delete all of the numbers I put in for every single month. This is set up so it's got formulas that automatically calculates everything for me. So there are certain cells or boxes that I don't want to touch at all. The only things I'm going to be deleting are going to be in this January to December, in these like bluish, grayish, I'm not really sure what color those are, areas. So I'm going to get rid of all of that information just by highlighting and clicking delete. And some of these you can see I've got little tabs or notes in here to let me know what that was. And I want to get rid of those too. I want a nice clean slate. So if I highlight those, go down to clear notes, it does that for me. So I'm going to go through this process. Again, this normal column, this column B is the normal. So if you are using this budget spreadsheet, or if you're looking and downloading it for the first time, this normal column is what does a normal month typically look like? And that's the dollar amount that you're going to budget for. Obviously, every month is a little bit different. So sometimes our electricity bill might be higher than 75. Sometimes it might be lower. And if I look through, our average was 66. So I could maybe tweak that a little bit and lower it down to $70 for 2021 annual budget, or I can keep it there as a nice placeholder. So this normal column, I'm going to leave that there because that's what our normal was. And if I need to make any adjustments, I want to keep that there. And this January, and I'm going to delete this, and I'll just go through and do this. I'll probably fast forward this so you're not bored by how slow this goes. But it's an important part of the process, going through and deleting all this information and getting rid of all the notes. I'm going to do this and it's going to fast forward when it shows for you. And if there's anything super important, I will come back to it after I delete all this. Okay, that's it. So it took me a couple minutes there, less than 5 minutes actually, to go through each of those sections, delete all of the numbers, and then delete all the little notes that were in there. You'll notice that I do have some notes that are still in here, and the notes are marked with this little triangle here. And so these are things that throughout the year that we keep in our annual budget for every single year to remind us of special expenses for that month. Just looking through this, I think this is really helpful for us to know what's coming up, and it could be really helpful for you to plan each month as an individual month, but also keep that big picture of your annual budget for 2021 in mind. So I know that for February we have Girl Scout cookies that we usually buy, and we usually try to do our taxes in February also. We have March Madness. So my wife and I love to do a March Madness pool against each other. The winner gets a book. So we've got details in there like card tabs, and we've got a little extra for pumpkin spice lattes in the fall and pumpkin pie blizzards, and then some like one for like our Christmas stuff as well. So we've got those there, and then you see we've got these little ones that are boxed. We like to keep tabs on when we get extra paychecks. We get those magical 3 paycheck months, and so we typically, or when we first started budgeting, we highlighted those in here. And I just haven't updated those ever since then. We do keep an idea of when our extra paychecks are. For example, for 2021, our extra paycheck is in April, and we've actually already got that budgeted out, what we want to spend that money on, because we are super nerdy with our money and try to like really plan those things ahead of time. So that's an extra paycheck month. We already have planned what we're doing with our tax return when that comes in too, because we love planning ahead. This is now ready for my 2021 annual budget. And then the last thing I would probably do is I would compare all of this information in this normal column to make sure that that's still the budget amount that we want to spend for that category. So I would go through each one of these. Some of these aren't going to change, like the mortgage. We could pay extra on that, which we've done in the past. Right now we're taking a break for that because my wife is going in grad school and we're paying for that 100% completely in cash, which is super awesome. So we bumped down our extra there. And so I would just, again, scan through these to make sure that this is how much. Oh, my wife actually just got a new phone because hers broke. So our phone bill is going to be going up from 130 by a little bit. So I'll have to make that adjustment once that gets finalized. And once I go through and compare, what we spent in 2020 in these categories and make sure that those are still priorities, or make these adjustments to either spend more like on our phone or to spend less. Maybe if we want to spend less on food, spend less on alcohol per month. Not that we actually spend $30 on that every month. If you were to actually look at our 2020, I'm just curious, just for fun. Some months we did an average of $13. So again, I love that that busts out the average too. So if you want an annual spreadsheet like this that gives you your monthly totals and the average that you're spending every month, it's an awesome way to set up your annual budget for 2021 so that you know where you're spending your money and can align your spending with your priorities, which is, I think, the ultimate purpose of a budget, to make sure that you're doing that. And so, yeah, I'll take a couple minutes to go through this and compare. Then I'm ready to go. I can start entering expenses for my 2021 annual budget. If you have any questions about budgeting, whether it's an annual budget, again, I've got that link for the spreadsheet in my Etsy shop in the description down below, or a monthly budget if you're a monthly budget kind of person. It's $5 for either of those, and I think it's a really great investment for planning for your 2021 annual budget, or if you want to do a monthly budget. A great investment to really start the year on a good note, having your finances on track and being really intentional about how you're spending money and making sure that you're spending money on things you actually care about and not just extra crap that you spent $20 on here or there, because that is so easy to let happen. So if you don't already have a budget, check out the annual budget for 2021 or the monthly budget with the links down below. I would love to help you get that set up. There's actually sweet video instructions and tutorials to help you set it up just like this. And let's make 2021 an awesome year. Let's leave the dumpster fire of 2020 behind and start 2021 off on an awesome foot, being really intentional in budgeting your money. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll talk to you next time.